there's still like a fucking shocking amount of people walking around with masks on, with families and with their kids all masks on, and a lot of cars driving by with men with their windows up and the mask on their face with windows up. That's bad enough, you know, but it's like, if they're that scared, if they're that fearful, you know they got the fucking Fauci ouchie. And if they did, it's highly likely that these are some of the same fucking assholes that 6, 7, 8 months ago were telling news media and talking in online spaces about putting people like me in camps, or getting some kind of system so that they could keep track of who didn't get the fucking Fauci ouchie. Like maybe a gold star would be a good way to do that, you know? Sew a gold star on my clothes. So it's like these, so when I see these people, right, it's hard to not like, especially, man, the dudes driving around in their cars with the fucking thing on. I can't say what I'd like to do because I don't know. I gotta be careful. But it makes me very angry. Like, you're not, these fucking people aren't the same as me. There's something else. They don't have a connection to divinity. They're not spiritual people. They're mouth-breathing eaters. I try to have empathy because you want to. But these same motherfuckers would want me to be a tagged second-class citizen. Not anymore, because they all forgot about it now, because they're not smart enough to do one thing they can only do one thing at a time, you know? So now it's war in a country they know nothing about, in a part of the world they couldn't find on a map. So we're doing that now. And I see these, oh man, it's hard. It would be, if it didn't get to the point where they showed they were a danger to me, and they are, because these are people that would call the Gestapo on me, because I didn't take the ouchie, you know. These are the people that turn you in. Like in China, it helps your social credit score to turn someone like me in. And they're going to try to do that here, and a lot of people will accept it. Maybe the majority will, maybe it just will happen. So, I mean, these people are a danger to me. I mean, it's just how it is. And so what am I supposed to do? Like, I'm supposed to be like, they'll come around. They had camps in Australia. You know, they would advocate to get me in a fucking camp for public safety. But I'm glad they still wear the muzzle, because they can identify themselves for me. They wanted me to identify myself before they did the war thing that they're all into now. But by wearing the face thing, I know they're definitely dangerous people. You know, and it's good, because now I can see how many there are, who they are, all that kind of shit. There's a lot of them. I'm tempted to think like the majority aren't real people, or a different kind of being from what I've come to think of as a person. I mean, we're not, these things like human being and person, these are words and names given to us to describe the 3D environmental suit that we're beholden to. Some say stuck in, I don't know. I think we're more like broadcasting. We're broadcasting to it because this isn't the totality of what you are. This is, what you're experiencing here is just a sliver of you. And yeah, it's hard to explain, it's hard to conceive because we only have so much of that consciousness to work with. So we can't kind of figure, we can't understand what that's like. So when you try to talk about it like I do, you end up sounding like a fucking crazy person or a retard, which is what I sound like most of the time. And that's fine. It's meant to be that way. It's designed to be that way. So when you hear the stuff that someone like me talks about, you go, yeah, that fucking guy's crazy. And then that's it. And then you're a non-factor, then you're marginalized, and you're taken out of the conversation. It's the worst thing you can do, you know? Because you can have a disagreement with people on whatever political ideology or religious dogma, whatever the fuck it is. But once you say someone's, well, they're crazy, you're no longer in the conversation. You're no longer an element of debate. I mean, you're marginalized completely. It's fucked up. So yeah, I try not to let that upset me, but I was walking by these families with their kids still with the mask on. It's like you want to just shake them like, dude, it's how do you think this is real? And that gets me back to thinking, like, there's no fucking way these people, after all they've seen, although, you know, who knows how much attention they're paying, that's the other thing. These people, a lot of them that are still walking out the diaper or in their car with their windows up and their fucking masks on, they probably spend a few minutes getting whatever news from whatever, who knows what the fuck kind of source. And all he needs is a couple neighbors to be as retarded as they are. And then, you know, next thing you know, oh, Jed's a millionaire. You know, it's like fucking, it's it. We're outnumbered. You know, we're outnumbered. What's that saying? Like, I know you've heard it a million times, that when a society is mad, they will look at the sane and say that they are mad because you are not mad like us, or something like that. I know I fucked that up, but it's something along those lines. Basically, it's just saying things when they get to a point where everything's so crazy that the majority are the crazy. The sane look like they're the ones with the problem. I think we're kind of in that situation now. And I, you know, you gotta go within. As hippy-dippy, trippy as that sounds, you have to. I used to hear people talk like that and be like, oh, fucking, you know, hippie. Smokes too much pot, whatever. But now it's like, after all this time, I finally was starting to understand that saying. And I don't even know if the people that used to espouse it knew that the far-reaching definition, how it would resonate in the future, but it does now. It does. You know? It, like I said too, it'd be one thing if they just wanted to wear the thing, and, you know, even if they want to drive around in their cars with it on, as far as retarded as I think that is. But when I remember these people would like to have me demoted in a societal sort of fashion, or jailed, or encamped to protect them. And I wouldn't mind, no, I wouldn't mind, but you don't want it to be personal, but it becomes personal at that point. It is personal, because when, you know, the neighbor calls the Gestapo on you to drag you out of the house, it's not very abstract at that point. You know, it's not very general at that point. It's very personal at that point. And we were at that precipice of that. And we may return to it. I'm almost certain, in fact, we will. Like these people, they work like a abusive relationship. They're okay. They love us now. They backed off. But they'll be back to smacking us in the eye again soon enough. You know, it's fucked. I try not, I mean, anger is the worst, because when you get angry, you're just playing right into the hands of what the beast system wants. It wants you to be angry. It wants you to be afraid. Anything low vibrational, negative emotions, they love it. They eat that. They can digest it. They can't digest the higher level emotional states, vibrations, frequency. Laughter is a good weapon. It's the highest vibrational activity you can engage in, is laughter. The devil hates being mocked. Doesn't like it. That's why memes, especially when you're going against the global plan and you meme on it, they get so upset. I haven't even really started to unpack that whole Ministry of Truth thing they're trying to put together. All it means is getting rid of people like me from public spaces. It's coming, and that's fine. You know, what are you going to do? I just kind of, unfortunately, like I said before, we're in a position where we have to just be reactionary as far as dealing with the screen, the reality, the presented space. As far as everything else, where the real change can happen and the real power comes from, you're in charge of all that stuff yourself. They can't, well, they're trying to take that away from you too. You know, understanding frequency, like what I talked about earlier today, or whenever, if you ever watch this, whatever. But they may just have our number and may be able to influence us in those ways too. Because, I mean, once you understand, hey John, what's going on, man? Hey kids, how are you? Because it is all just frequency. And if they have your number, or your particular radio station, your particular, because that's all it is. Like if you know the station, you know the frequency, you just turn it on, turn it off, or put it on your stereo, or put it in your car. They've been doing this a very long time. So I would have to say, you just have to assume they have that stuff on lockdown. But the good news is, the tools they use to facilitate that action are coming apart, because they've used them for too long, and they're just trying to stretch it out more, broaden their scope, and they can't handle the speed and the massive scale of what they're doing, on top of it already breaking down. It was breaking down no matter what. It was going to come to this no matter what. And I know they know that, so that's why they're making these crazy grabs. It's the same thing. It's the beast dying on the ground. It's flapping its arms around. It's trying to just spitefully hit and kill and destroy anything it can before it goes into the pit. And that is it. Don't blame the teacher, blame the school.